Hello, my name is Jim McGillivray and this is the Pipe Box, your source for all things piping. If you find this video useful, please give it a like and please subscribe to this YouTube channel to see more videos like this. We're going to go over a tune here today, and you can print the music out for this tune by going back to the description of this video on my YouTube channel. There will be a link to a PDF there. Today I would like to do with you a tune that is probably best described as a pipe hymn. Highland Cathedral ranks right up there with Amazing Grace as one of pipe music's great showstoppers. The tune was originally written in 1982 by two German composers, Ulrich Rover, who passed away in 1997, and Michael Korb, who played pipes on the first recording of the tune in 1982 when it was played at a German Highland Games. Since then, it's become nothing short of a bagpipe anthem, played all over the world and enjoyed by millions. Contributing to its popularity is the fact that it's not a difficult tune. It's fairly easy and just about any piper can play it. So, before we get into the tune, let's have a quick look at a portion of the score. Here are the first and second parts of Highland Cathedral. As we look at this tune today, we're going to focus on managing short notes and putting technique on the beat. The circled notes are short notes that we must control. In my experience teaching this tune, pipers seem to have trouble with these short notes, so we're going to talk more about these. I want you to notice the two square boxes at the ends of lines 2 and 4. One of the reasons for the success of Highland Cathedral is the breathtaking key change that happens in the middle. We can often tell the key of a piece of music by looking at the last note in the piece. If we look at the last note of the first part, we can see that it is a D. In fact, the first part is in the key of D major. The second part ends on a low A, and that part is in fact in A major. So the piece alternates between these two key signatures in a very satisfying way. At the end of this video, I'll talk to you about playing this tune with other instruments, which requires a little bit of prep and a little bit of knowledge of musical theory. So let's start out by hearing the whole tune played on a Blair digital chanter. Let's start with the first bar. Halfway through the first bar, we have an E eighth note followed by 3 more eighth notes. That's what I like to call a little run of eighth notes. In my experience, when pipers see runs of eighth notes together, they tend to rush them, to just push ahead. We need to be patient with these eighth notes and let them fill out the space they're sitting in. Try to avoid in the middle of that bar as well, we see 2 16th notes that I spoke of earlier. Don't rush through these 16th notes and don't hold the first one. They're played round, like this. Avoid this. Even. One other small point about bar 1, the grace note on the low A at the end of the bar is an E grace note, not a G grace note. You're going to see lots of E grace notes in here, and I've noticed inexperienced pipers often tend to gravitate toward G grace notes. Watch for E grace notes. Bar 3, same musical pattern, different notes. Lots of patience with those eighth notes. Bar 5, same pattern, different notes. 2 points I'd like to make about bar 5. Bar 5 begins with a grip from low A to B. You may find you tend to play that grip early. Wait for it. Wait for the grip up to the B. At the end of that bar is a bit of an odd looking movement from C to D. What that actually is, it's a D throw without a low G at the front of it. So it looks like this. Bar 7, again, same pattern. Open out the eighth notes. Be patient. Okay, so all of those bars through that part all look for exactly the same expression. Those are the odd numbered bars. The even numbered bars are the same too, just different notes. Bar 2. Bar 4. Bar 6. Bar 8. Again, lots of patience in those bars. That's the first part. There's not a lot to remember, but there's something to remember in every bar. Let's hear the first part played now on a practice chanter. In the second part, we're going to encounter our 16th note pairs again, so I don't want to say too much about those. We've already talked about them in the first part. However, I would like to say a little bit about bar 3 and 4, where in my teaching I've noticed people do tend to crush the 16th notes. So bar 3 and 4 in part 2. play them even. Don't cut the B and don't hold the B. In the second one, in bar 4, again, play it nice and open. Watch for a false note. When you go from D to the short E, be sure to put your D fingers down. Let's look at bar 1 and 2 in the second part now. The part starts with a C doubling. In the middle of the part is an E doubling. The whole premise of my technical tutor, Rhythmic Fingerwork, is that for most of the technique we play, almost all of the technique we play, the beat falls on the first grace note. This is particularly true of doublings. The beat falls on the G grace note. Your foot hits the floor when the G grace note hits the chanter. Pipers have a tendency to put the second grace note on the note, and we want to avoid this. So, in the first bar of the second part, we want to put the C doubling and the E doubling squarely on the beat. Not this. In the next bar, we have a grip. Generally, when I teach grips slowly, I teach the last note in the grip being, the theme note actually, being on the beat. In this case, I would like you to think of the first G grace note as being on the beat. Right after that is a C doubling. We're going to put the G grace note on the beat in the C doubling. So here are bars 1 and 2. So we're waiting for all those G grace notes until we hit the beat. So, like the first part, the second part doesn't have a lot of pitfalls, just got a few things to think about here and there, a little bit in each bar. Okay, let's hear the second part played in the practice chanter. Now let's talk about performing Highland Cathedral. When I played the tune earlier on the Blair Digital Chanter, you probably noticed that I didn't play the whole score as written. In fact, whenever I play this tune as a bagpipe soloist with no accompanying instruments, I only play the first 6 lines. I find the rest of it just drags on a little wee bit too long, so line 1 to 6 when I'm playing as a soloist. If I'm playing with another instrument, I play the whole tune. My favorite instrument to play this tune with is the church organ. So let's say you walk into a church and you and the church organist are going to play Highland Cathedral together. The church organist is very liable to say to you, "What key do you play in?" We talked about key signatures earlier. The first part is in the key of D, the second part is in the key of A. However, it's never easy. That's not the key signatures that we're going to tell the organist. Our bagpipe is not a concert pitch instrument the way an organ is. We've floated freely and got higher and higher in pitch over the years so that we sit well above B flat. What this means is that in order to match our pitch, the organist has to play up half a step. So if the key is D, as it is in the first part, the organist will play E flat. The second part, where the key is A major, the organist will play B flat. So E flat in the first part, B flat in the second part. So Once you have that together, you're almost ready to play, but there is more. As I mentioned, the bagpipe pitch has floated freely over the years, and we're well above B flat right now. So to play with your organist in key, you have to get yourself a B flat chanter. Most dealers sell B flat chanters. The low A on a B flat chanter tunes to 466 cycles per second. And that's the only way you're going to play in tune with your organist. Normally, the organ would start at line 5 and play until the end of the tune. In terms of tempo, look for something in the high 60s, maybe somewhere from maybe 65 beats per minute up to maybe 69. The tune is stately and it's majestic. You don't want to race through it, and you don't want to turn it into a dirge. So that's it for Highland Cathedral. It's a tune just about anybody can play and just about everybody enjoys. So that's it for this week. From me, Jim McGillivray at the Pipe Box, good piping.